everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. First and foremost, this is the weekly for the sign of Virgo. But before we get into it, we're going to let you know about the Spirit Animal Oracle deck, which I'm giving away for a Christmas gift to a lucky subscriber. And all you have to do is be subscribed, of course, and just leave me a comment letting me know that you are interested. All right, Virgo, if you're new to my channel, what we do for the weeklies, I pull out 3 romance angel messages. I pull out 3 animal spirits, and then we get right into several forecasts for the week. Let me apologize for any background noise and the delay for this video coming out. I've had some work getting done on my building, and so I've had to delay doing these readings until the noise subsided a bit. But we're going to get right into it. All right, Virgo, let's pull them out. See what the romance angel messages have to say for your week. Straight out we have flirt. Nice. And heart-to-heart conversations. So honesty, right? Opening up that heart chakra, talking. We have soulmate energy. All right, so very nice love energy for this week, right? This 3rd week in December. Incredible month. For those of you who have not checked out my other videos, everything is linked there in the description, and December has really promised to be a month of changes and luck coming in, rewards coming in, blessings. So let's pull out your animal spirits. Now, your animal spirits are going to represent energies that may become available to you. It can represent personality traits and character traits of people that you may be dealing with. Can also indicate stages in your life that you might be entering into right now, right? Entering into or exiting, as it were. So let's just see, my lovely Virgo, what this is all about for you. And of course, just take what applies to you. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. I always say that because, of course, we know not all readings are for all people. We have the hawk, air energy, messenger of the divine, right? Talks about fate being on, the eyes of fate being on your life right now. The bear, earth energy, awakening from a slumber, spiritual slumber. And then we have the raccoon, lovely, also earth energy, associated with talent. All right, guys, let's get right into it before we pull out your spread. Now, the hawk is, of course, air energy, and the hawk talks about being able to see the whole picture, right? I mean, the eyes of a hawk, right? The hawk can see everything. It can see the big picture, but it can also see the details and how the details in a particular scenario impact the larger picture, right? And so this is a card of clarity and perspective. Oftentimes when we're in a situation that requires a bit more perspective, a bit more understanding of why things are going the way they're going. What's going on with my camera? Okay, there we go. There we go. When we're trying to understand why things are happening the way they're happening, or we're losing a bit of perspective, hawk energy comes in, right? And kind of reorientates us. The other thing with the hawk, as I mentioned earlier, is that hawk energy can also represent the eyes of fate being on you. Oftentimes when this energy comes in, there are messages that are there for you, you know, but you just have to be open to them, right? And you have to pay attention to the omens that may be coming into your life, because oftentimes on the wings of the hawk come messages from the divine about your life, about your next steps. So just be open and receptive. These can come in the form of omens, or you may be seeing images, right? Where you go, you may be seeing certain images, or you may be just awareness, right? Your awareness. Even a song, listening to a song, there may be a message suddenly that comes through, and it's kind of like, oh, wow, this was really meant for me. All right, sorry about that. I had to fix my camera. Hopefully it will work better now. All right, here we go. The bear. The bear talks about an awakening, right? Whenever we see a card with kind of gold or yellow illumination in that way, it really talks about an enlightenment or an awakening period. And here we have the bear coming out of a spiritual slumber. This can indicate that for some of you Virgos right now, you're having an awakening. You're having a spiritual awakening. You're tapping into things that you haven't tapped into before. And just as the bear awakens from its long hibernation and kind of stumbles out of its den, it can feel in the beginning like a bit of a stumble. It can feel like, you know, this is very new for you. But after a term or after a while of this awakening coming into your life, you know, it will become much more comfortable and much more fluid for you. And a whole new side of your journey is opening up, certainly a very spiritual side of your life. Now, the raccoon is associated with earth energy, and the raccoon is talent embodied, right? Very clever creature, a very shy creature oftentimes, right? The raccoon tends to stick to the shadows and to hide there. It's very bashful, doesn't want to be seen, but it watches and it strategizes and it figures out the next step that it wants to take, right? Very, very smart and talented with its hands, right? You ever see a raccoon? I mean, and you know, in this, I would say in the wild, but you don't even need to be in the wild. I live on the East Coast in the city, and we see raccoons right in the city at times, you know, and they have this ability to do anything with their hands, which is why the raccoon is associated with musicians, people who can pick up an instrument and play music with it. Anyone who's good with their hands, you know, woodworkers, carvers, sculptors, painters, musicians, anyone who has a talent for tinkerers even, right? A talent for doing things with their hands. And this is a beautiful totem for that type of artist. Now let's get right into your spread. All right, for those of you who are new to my channel, I'm going to pull out about 4 to 6 3-card spreads. And they're going to indicate several different sort of scenarios that may or may not happen to you this week, that you may or may not encounter, Virgo. Again, just take what applies to you and let the rest go. And of course, check out the mid-monthly love updates or the love full month love reading. All of that is linked in the description. All right, let's get right into it, my lovely Virgos. We have straight out 8 of Cups, 9 of Wands, and Strength card. All right. Some of you are entering this week with an 8 of Cups energy. The first card is the energy you're coming into the week with, and the second card is the energy that you're met with, and the third card is, of course, how you're rounding out your week. Now, 8 of Cups. 8 is the number for boundaries and borders. It's also the number for strength in the major arcana, right? So what we associate 8s with is the ability to sort of enforce these boundaries. And here with 8 of Cups, this is exactly what we're talking about. I love the 8 of Cups because it is an action card. It is an intentional card. It's one of these cards that almost always will works in tandem with another message, because here you've decided to firmly turn your back on relationships that don't give you anything back in return. Okay, 8 of Cups talks about realizing that for, you know, a long time, or for a period in your life, you've been pouring your energy and your strength, right? Your energy, your strength into cups, into people, into relationships that aren't really worth pouring into. It can often feel like a bottomless cup, you know, it just keeps going. They just keep taking and taking, but nothing comes back. You don't get any satisfaction back. You don't get any kind of feeling that this is being reciprocated. And so you decide it's time to set boundaries with people like that. You know, it's time to not allow everyone to sort of suck your energy or get you to pour energy into them without any returns. And so you're deciding to have a higher level of engagement, which is why we often see this person moving up the hill. He's ascending to a higher level of engagement, and he is wearing the cloak of red, which is associated with wisdom, right? So the wisdom to know that, you know, that you have to choose where you pour your energy. You have to be discerning about who you pump your energy into. And this is the decision you're walking into this week with. 9 of Wands is what meets you. And I'm going to say there is someone who comes into your life who is extremely fiery and enthusiastic. And it's interesting because it's almost like you're being tested. This intention is being tested right away, because you turn out the week with Strength card, which really indicates to me that this Knight of Wands individual may be approaching you, Virgo, much in the same way that a lot of these other individuals in these other relationships have. And it's sort of like a test of your strength, right? You come out at the end of the week with the strength card, in the sense that it's all well and good to make this decision, but then once you are actually faced with someone who kind of who represents the type of people you've always poured your energy or your time into before, when you meet that person, do you have the resolve to stick to this decision, or are you going to go back to the same old behavior pattern? And so, of course, we see strength coming in because it will require a lot of strength, you know. They may come to you with very similar attitudes and characteristics. You know, this may be the type of person. It could be the type of person, you always, you know, when you talk about, you know, our type, you know. Sometimes we have a type, and sometimes that type is the bad boy or the bad girl or the person who is just not so good for us. And I feel very much like this Knight of Wands, for some of you, Virgo, is very much your type coming in and testing your resolve. Do you have the strength to stick by your guns? And I'm not saying that you don't, not to deal with this person at all or not to allow them in, but Eight of Cups, what it talks about is setting a boundary, right? Enforcing your boundaries with people until you are sure that they are able to give you what you need in return for what you give them, right? This is not like just cutting people off for no reason, but being a bit more discerning and requiring people to step up to the plate a bit more before you give them your time and energy. And do you have the strength to do that with this Knight of Cups that comes in? There's your Tower, Two of Swords, and Seven of Swords. Oh, wow. Okay, some of you come in this week with a Tower moment. A major event has happened, maybe in the past week, or is happening right as you come into this week, and this Tower moment is forcing you to have to make a decision. This could be in any area of your life, right? But this is, I feel very strongly that this is going to be obviously something that has to do with heart-to-heart conversations. It could very well involve family, friends, lovers. Whatever the case may be, there's a very difficult decision that you're faced with as a result of this event. But you round off the week with a Seven of Swords. And I'm going to say to you, what you find out is that oftentimes you can't make this Two of Swords decision. Two of Swords is the land of indecision, is what we call it, because she's not able to make the decision. She's not able to decide which sword is the best, right? So this card oftentimes talks about finding balance, right? But it's interesting, the Seven of Swords talks about treachery, and it can indicate finding out that people have been working against you behind the scenes. It's also the card for futility, right? And you round off the week with this Seven of Swords. And I'm going to say for some of you, the approach you're taking to this Tower moment may be quite futile, right? You may be taking a very old school, like not old school, but a very sort of the same approach that you always take in these situations, right? Let's say this is a chaotic situation. Something has happened. Something has fallen apart. Some information has come in. Some shocking news has come in, right? Create this Tower moment. And the way that you are approaching it is with this decision, in the sense of, okay, well, I'm either going to, you know, decide to put up with it, or I'm going to cut it out of my life, right? But you can't really decide between the two. You round the week off with a Seven of Swords, which is also futility in a lot of ways, because the approach that you're using to this Tower moment is the same approach that you've used before, and it's not going to get you where you need to go. Right? It's not going to allow you to find the balance that you need with this Two of Swords. And I think that this Tower moment is very much coming in because you're having to learn how to deal with these crises a little bit different. I'm going to say this is for a Virgo who has had numerous crises before. Okay, this Tower moment is not necessarily, it doesn't feel like this is a new Tower moment. It feels very much like this is for a Virgo who has constantly gone through these ups and downs, and these Tower moments keep happening. But unfortunately, the way you are approaching these moments, right, is forcing them to keep happening because you're not approaching them from a balanced way. You're not approaching them with a balanced sort of viewpoint. And so you're always ending up with these situations, and your approach to them resulting in a futile effort to handle it, right? Seven of Swords is the card for treachery and backstabbing. I call it my dream thief card, but in this scenario, it's also the card for futility, and this is what I'm feeling very, very strongly. That once again, you're going through a very chaotic situation, Virgo, and you know, the methods you're using to sort of handle it are just not working. And you're going to have to wake up to that because you feel like, you know, this Two of Swords is making you feel like you only have two choices. And this may be why your efforts are always futile, because you must understand that the answer to the Two of Swords is not one or the other choice, but finding a balance between the two. Wheel of Fortune, Three of Swords, and the Lovers. Wow. All right. Wheel of Fortune comes in this week. Beautiful opportunity comes in. Interestingly enough, you're met with the Three of Swords and you round out with the Lovers. This week is going to feel like a really fortuitous moment, but it's going to lift the lid on a situation that is involving a third person. Okay, another individual in this connection. Three of Swords oftentimes is interpreted as third-party energy in relationships and cheating. But the mistake that a lot of people make is that they immediately approach the Three of Swords as a cup card because of the heart. It's not a cup card. It's a swords card. Cup card, you know, so it's not to do with relationships so much, but everything to do with communication and the ego and the breaking of trust and loyalty through the way we communicate. That's what the Three of Swords is really all about. The fact that it is interpreted as cheating or third-party energy is just a grotesquely oversimplified explanation of this card. Three being the number of bonding, loyalty, union, right? Coming together. Three of Swords is when somebody uses their words or their actions to break that trust or bonding, right? To destroy that union or to disrespect that loyalty, right? To be disloyal, as it were. Of course, the most grossly simplified example of that is when somebody cheats on you, but, you know, that's not just all this card represents. And so for you, there's a waking up here this week in a very fortunate way. It's like things happen this way for you, Virgo. Very fated. I'm going to say hawk energy is at play because the eyes of fate are kind of showing you something. The wheel has turned and an opportunity has come for you to find out that somebody has not been 100% honest with you. Somebody has not been representing themselves 100%. And you round off the week with a Lover's card, which is quite interesting because I'm going to say that this Three of Swords could very well be some action that somebody took to keep you from your lover. But now that now that the wheel has turned in your favor, literally, to show you this, right? To open your eyes, you know, an awakening has happened that perhaps, you know, some of the things that people have, something that someone has been doing to sort of break your loyalty with someone or break the bond with this lover, you find out about it. You know, but you find out about it in such a way that it brings you closer to your lover. It's like the jig is up, right? Maybe up until now you've been blaming a particular love connection for something that has gone wrong. But this week it's been like I say, it's like the eyes of fate are on you. It's like it was meant to be. Events have occurred this week in such a way to open your eyes, to bring new information in that really wakes you up to the true nature of this love connection, right? Could be, for instance, an example would be that if you had a connection with somebody and say it broke up, and this whole time you've been thinking that they haven't been thinking about you, that they're over you, you know, and that there's no way back. And the reason why you've been thinking that is perhaps some of your friends have been telling you this, right? Oh, they don't think about you at all. They're past you. They're with somebody else. An example would be that this week, events happen in such a way, in a very fated or destined way, that prove to you that your friends were wrong. That indeed this person is thinking about you. And that really what's been going on is that people around you have been sort of interfering and have been sort of dishonest with you. They've been, you know, they haven't been completely loyal. They haven't been completely trustworthy. And a lot of that sort of I want to say, has impacted your trust for your lover. And now that you find out this information through this really kind of like fortuitous way, it brings you right closer to your lover again. It brings you right back to your soulmate. Heart-to-heart conversations, definitely. Certainly hawk energy is at play, and maybe even bear energy in the sense of waking up to a spiritual understanding, spiritual connection with someone, or waking up to the fact that people around you have been trying to break that spiritual connection because they didn't want to see you bonded with this person. It's a real wake up this week for some of you, and a real lid has been blown on a particular scenario. 6 of Cups, High Priestess, and 3 of Wands. This is going to be the last spread. 6 of Cups talks about a connection that you've had for a very long time with someone. It could be a reconciliation. It can also be a soulmate connection. 6 is the number for harmony. In 6 of Cups, we talk about having a really harmonious connection with somebody or relationship with somebody. This can be a very good friendship, but it can also be a lover relationship, right? More than anything, it's the kind of connection that lasts for years or even lifetimes. And this is why we associate 6 of Cups with a soulmate connection. But remember, soulmates are not always twin flames, right? All twin flames are a form of soulmate, but not all soulmates are twin flames. And so this can also be just like a good friendship, as it were. In any case, you come into this week, I want to say, Virgo, for some of you, you're trying to maintain this friendship with this person, or you have a connection with someone that is really, really nice right now. It's very harmonious. It feels like a soulmate connection. It feels good. And this week, you kind of are met with a High Priestess energy. There's something going on that is telling you to wait, because you round off with a 3 of Wands. You're wanting to move forward with this, but something is happening this week, and your intuition, your gut is screaming out to you that there's more information that needs to be had. Perhaps some heart-to-heart conversations need to be had. And you round out the week with a 3 of Wands, which 3 of Wands indicates patience. It talks about a stopping of forward momentum. Talks about slowing down and waiting for events to happen in such a way before you can move forward. Usually 3 of Wands comes into our life when we need to allow some other information or person or event to happen or to come into us before we can carry on our path towards our objective. It's like a pumping of the brakes. You know, it's a divine pumping of the brakes, and oftentimes it feels very much like we're being forced to slow down with the 3 of Wands, but it is always for an ultimate good reason, right? It's a timing thing. It always represents the need to slow down and give time, basically, to allow something else to come in, something else that is necessary for you achieving your goals, right? So this week you're forced to stop, and you're kind of forced in a way because of certain events to start paying attention to your intuition. This could very much be a case of bear energy, in the sense that things happen this week are forcing you to awaken to a more intuitional side of you, a spiritual side. And this is all going to be in relation to this very, very strong soulmate connection that you have here with someone. Could be that this is a friendship that is meant to be a love relationship, but something needs to occur for this to resonate up to that, and so life is kind of stopping you right now. Remember, Hawk, the eyes of fate are on you, and if fate is saying, listen, this relationship is fated to be more than just the soulmate friendship that it is right now, fated to maybe be a twin flame soulmate connection, but something needs to happen in the meantime, so we're going to force you to slow down and allow the High Priestess to come in and to open up your third eye a little bit, to open up your spiritual acceptance and receptivity a little bit, so that you can see the potential in this relationship. It's almost as if you have to be shown that, because you're moving so fast, some of you, Virgo. You're going on with your life, and here is this connection that has the potential for being a strong love connection, but you know, if you don't slow down and allow it to develop, you may run past it, right? You may run past the opportunity that this connection has to develop into a twin flame union. And so the High Priestess comes in. She doesn't tell you why. she doesn't tell you anything. The high priestess is cagey as hell. She will not tell you anything, but she shows, you know, she shows you the way through her essence. And that is really, and the way is really sort of opening up your third eye, listening to your inner voice, allowing yourself to sort of develop spiritually. All right, Virgo, this is your reading, December. I'm going to call it this December 15th to the 21st. I do apologize for the reading coming out one day late. Usually I have the readings out every Saturday. If you're new to my channel, please check me out every Saturday. I usually premiere all my weekly readings. This week I had a lot of work getting done on my apartment. It was too noisy, so I do apologize. But nevertheless, we are here. Don't forget to let me know if you're interested in a Spirit Animal Oracle deck from Colette Baron Reed. I'm giving one of these away to a lucky subscriber for Christmas. And all you have to do is be subscribed and leave me a comment letting me know you're interested. Check out your other videos. If you enjoyed my channel, you just came here, you found me on the feed and this is your first time, thank you so much for checking me out. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. And I encourage you to like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit the bell so you can be notified of when I premiere my videos. I do premiere all my videos. But for right now, Virgo, have a wonderful third week in December, and I shall see you next Saturday. Bye-bye now.